first of all, we just want to say that, yeah, we just really appreciate that you're here. And we feel like so deeply honored to be part of this love community. And yeah, every one of you would just really, it's such a privilege to be able to share space and time with you tonight. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you all so much for being in this group too. It's been so wonderful to connect with a lot of you over the past few weeks. And we just know everyone who's here, it's like you have this commitment in your heart to expand love in your own heart, in your own life, with your partner, with other relationships, and in the world. And that's just like what I think we're all really here to do. So yeah, thanks for being a pioneer of love in the world.
Definitely. So we wanted to do a subject tonight, reviving your relationship. So it's so easy, for everyone to eventually, at some point, right, just kind of feel like, like we're maybe lost a little bit of our spark. It's like we've kind of gotten a little too much into our daily patterns, and we just kind of, maybe the passion just isn't where we want it to be. And so we wanted to give you 10 tips to really kind of revive your relationship.
Yeah, and it's such a natural thing to happen. It's one of the beautiful things actually of long-term love is the comfort, right? It's like that's what's so, gives us so much peace and assurance that we know this other human being so well. And on the flip side of it, it's like we're programmed. Why it's so intoxicating when we first fall in love with someone is that there is that element of mystery. It's just like in a love story. Most movies, there's like a lot of build up to people actually coming together, and it's this like unfolding mystery of wondering all these things about them, and there's all these new things because that like pulls us in and allures us so much and bonds us to someone. And so that familiarity, we can just get stuck in, whether it's around actual like attraction and passion or just being stuck in patterns and ways of relating. It happens so naturally in long-term love. So rest assured, it's not a sign that you aren't meant to be or that you've fallen out of love. You can revive your relationship throughout a lifetime. So we invite you to have, if you want to have like a pen and paper handy to write down any of the gems that resonate with you. And we're going to dive in, and then at the very end, we're going to share a little bit more about our Thriving Relationship Coach Certification Program. Although I think there was just one spot left, and I think that last spot may have just been taken. I'm not certain. We'll be kind of checking the phone to see, but we'll be sure to answer some questions for those of you that are interested, because we may just have one spot left. All right, so let's dive into the first one.
The first one is to revive your relationship is to take 100% responsibility for reviving it. So don't expect your sweetie to be the one to lead the way. Don't expect them to be the one to go first. You just take 100% responsibility for doing the reviving and to just jump in head first and get passionate about it. Just make it your project. I don't need them to do anything. It's like, I'm just gonna make this fun and make this playful. And I'm just gonna, do whatever it takes, right? To get us, back into that place where I want us to be.
Yeah, it's so easy, when we think about our relationship would be so much better if my partner would just be more romantic or take more initiative or share their heart or feelings more with me or be more physically affectionate, whatever it might be. It's so easy, so natural to go there. And that's definitely our power and opportunity and possibility really exists when we take responsibility. It's how can I create, a relationship that is infused with so much more energy and aliveness and joy together. So that's step number one, and a really, really important one is not just waiting for our partner, because then it becomes a very gridlocked pattern, right? If you're both just waiting for each other, well, I would do this if only you would do this. So just to be thinking okay, what if my partner had a magic wand? What would their wishes be for how our relationship could be revived? And just make it your joyous mission to start sprinkling more of that in your love. So that's number one. And I see some of the comments here, and you are so happy to have those of you who are here. So number two is all about variety. So variety leads to passion. So doing new things is actually, we talked about kind of at the beginning of your relationship, there's that mystery, that newness. And so it's so easy just to always go to the same restaurants, to have the same kinds of conversations, just for life to become really predictable. And a part of that is so beautiful. It gives us a lot of security in life when the rest of life can feel really chaotic and unknown, like there's a wonderful certainty in this being a rock. And it also can lead to just a duller relationship and a little more stuckness. And so when we have variety in our lives, it releases dopamine, which is like the feel good chemical. It feels like we're in a high. So we highly recommend it. Something we're really committed to in our own life is like always, like I mentioned, restaurants, which is a common one for like a date night. Like try new places, dress up, wear different things, like learn a new hobby, go to a new place, have sex in a different position. Like you want to keep like just any sort of different forms of variety in all areas of life together. Have conversations about things you wouldn't usually. Read a book about a topic that's new to you. What else do you want to add?
We really, suggest kind of playing both edges. Like we want things to be kind of really stable, right, and really solid so that we feel safe and secure, right? Like that just gives us that foundation to go really deep with each other. But we also want to like consciously kind of create that further edge on the other side of kind of new experiences, right? We recently did powered paragliding training, and we're kind of flying up in the air with these giant gas-powered fans strapped on our back and with the parachute, and it was so amazing. Like it really pushed our comfort zone. It really kind of pushed the edge, right, of what we feel comfortable with, and especially that first time we went out.
True.
I swear, it was like almost a blackout. Like it was just like I don't even really remember it because I had so much adrenaline pumping through my system, and it was amazing, right? And so right, we want some of those new experiences like sprinkled throughout our life, kind of all the time, and. One of the exercises that we do with people, and that you would do as a coach, if we trained you, is getting clear on what those kind of daily versus kind of weekly or monthly kind of experiences are that we want to consciously create. And the daily we want to be kind of predictable, and then the monthly we want to be kind of those new adventures that we're kind of constantly creating.
Yes, absolutely. We'll talk more about it. That'll be one of the things is like how to ritualize this kind of connection that you have to make sure those are intentional moments. All right, so number 3 is to nurture your emotional intimacy, which is so important. It's a really common thing to start, finding that your conversations always revert back to work or the kids are probably the two most common, or just logistics. Like, did you call the plumber? Like kind of going through your laundry list of what needs to get done. And those conversations, while important, like you are co-creating life together and managing a household probably together. So those are essentials. But if that's all that your life is, it probably doesn't feel really revived. And so you want to be nurturing your emotional intimacy. And ways to do that is to ask each other open-ended questions. So rather than, like, who's taking Sarah to soccer tomorrow? Or, hey, will you pass me that? Or whatever it might be. You want to ask like, what is delighting you these days? Or what's a joy and challenge from your day to day? And really give each other the time and the space to really drop in and answer from your heart, rather than just like kind of asking whatever the rote answer is that you would typically say. So asking open-ended questions are wonderful. Just getting curious. So when your partner says something, rather than just responding with your feedback about it, which is a really common thing in relationships, which tends to shut down sharing emotionally. Like if we, train our partner that when we ask them something, we just give them feedback rather than empathy and validation. We get excited with them, curious, empathetic. It will like really train them to open up and share more freely. So how we respond and curiosity is really powerful. Validation, curiosity.
Yeah, at least, once every couple of weeks, right? We want to be asking our sweetie, like, hey, what have I done recently that, like, really turns you on, or that really opens you up, or that makes you feel more connected to me? And the converse, right? What have I done recently that kind of closed you off to me? Because I don't want to be doing that, right? And so when we talk about emotional intimacy, that vulnerability is such a critical part of that, like that willingness to kind of just like slow down and kind of speak from the heart, and to say something that kind of exposes our heart, right? To realize when we're kind of hiding from our beloved, and when we need to kind of really kind of open up to them and say the potentially hard things as well as like the really sweet things.
Yeah, sharing, kind of being brave with sharing our hearts with each other can absolutely revive our relationship. What happens is any place where we're withholding, just out of our own fear, maybe it hasn't felt like a safe space to really share. That's like a place for connection, where aliveness, where love and joy and energy really can exist. It's really like, it's like a closed off part of ourselves for our own, our own relationship with ourselves, but especially with our partner. It's like love can't flow, energy can't flow in those places. So it's amazing. I know, like, if I'll share something more vulnerable with Bret, it's like, oh, I instantly like feel this like return of energy and this return of energy between us. So emotional intimacy is such an important thing, and to create a safe space for it.
Yes.
All right.
So the next way to revive your relationship
Number 4.
is to make deposits in your love account. So our love account is when we have positive interactions together. When we have negative interactions together, we're doing love withdrawals, right? So we think of this as kind of like a checking account, and it's a great way to think of it for people that have kind of a quantifiable mindset. So we want to ideally be hitting about a 20-to-1 ratio of positive to negative interactions. So if you just take like an average of the interactions that we have in a day, right? We want at least 95% of those to be positive. Where I'm like turning towards my sweetie, like with a smile, right? With a open kind of body language, with positive facial expressions. So it's like all what our sweetie sees in us is as important as what they hear us say, right? And so we're just like open, positive, loving, so 95% of our interactions, if we want to have a thriving relationship, right, need to be that kind of positive in their orientation. And so, we can have, 5% of the time, which is not insignificant, we can have like some stressful conversations or, some irritable moments, get up on the wrong side of bed. We just want to make sure we kind of shift it, and not stay there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's, if you've kind of learned things that we've shared before, we are big proponents of the love account, and it's, I think, a real disservice if we try to heal or transform or revive our relationship just by fixing what's wrong. We want to like grow what's strong, and it's amazing. Most of the couples that come into our office are really kind of across the board are struggling with a low love account. And when our love account is low, it's like we just start to see our partner really as the barrier to getting our needs met, really as our adversary. And that's when we can easily like nitpick and criticize and blame and have power struggles, or maybe I withdraw and my partner becomes kind of controlling and more dominating. All the things that aren't so pleasant happen so much more naturally if we just feel disconnected. Whereas if we're like bringing in more of the good, like naturally we just like want to be kinder to our partner, and we just see them as our ally, and our ally we like want to take good care of and look out for and support, and we just see their good intentions. So like, don't underestimate the power of just putting in more of the good, and notice how some problems just sort of take care of themselves. Of course, we believe in like really addressing the things that aren't working, and it's such good news that we can actually bring in more of the good, and that works magic.
Yes, and we want to thank John Gottman for the research that information is based on. He's done a huge
Amazing
service
research.
to the institution of romantic relationships. All right, so next is physical intimacy, and we want to take a look at this from both non-sexual and sexual kind of physical intimacy. So we find that it's really important that relationships have both. So that we have a good dose of that non-sexual intimacy, that we're just like, getting the touch, the hugs, all the just comforts and back rubs and back massages and foot rubs and, all kind of that good stuff that just really connects us, that kind of gives our body those physical signals, and we really need that. All our bodies need those physical signals that everything's okay. That the physical signals that I have a person who loves and cares about me, that is in my presence, right? They're like in my proximity. They have my back, and they touch like communicates so much that leads to our sense of security, that our sense of like everything's right in the world.
Yeah, and it really releases oxytocin, which is the bonding chemical. So during our retreats, we'll have couples actually test out what a 20-second hug feels like, and it's sometimes the home play couples that I work with, that's like we call it home play instead of homework, but what they'll do, like, whenever you walk in the door at the end of the workday, like the first thing to do is like embrace and have that hug. And it's amazing what it just like can just dissolve tension and stress. Like it's so healing for us. And what we find oftentimes happens with a lot of the couples that we support is that if sexuality is a source of conflict, so if there's desire discrepancy, which is just a technical kind of term for a difference in desire in sexual frequency, what can sometimes happen is that all sorts of physical affection, intimacy falls away, because if you're afraid that if you like touch your partner, all of a sudden they're going to lean in and want so much more and kind of pull you to the bedroom, then you're like, I don't want to give them any indication of that, so I'm just not even going to touch them. So totally understandable how that happens, and unfortunately then you can really just disconnect in your relationship. And so a great way to begin to revive it is just put more physical affection. Like when you're walking by each other, just like touch each other. Like these are things, like life is so full and busy that it's totally free and it takes hardly any time. So I think 20 seconds to actually release oxytocin for a hug. And just like as you're passing each other, it communicates so much in a way that's beyond words. And especially if you're feeling more stress, like sometimes we're in a higher stress state, it's harder to use all of our relationship tools and have empathy and curiosity and appreciation, which are things we'll explore that we are enthusiastic advocates for. But touch doesn't require that, so we can actually be in a higher stress state and still like it just doesn't take as much for our brains to like reach out, and it can actually be stress reducing. So that, and then the other thing is erotic maps. Or what do you want to say?
I was just gonna show just to make sure you understand what we mean by oxytocin hug.
Yeah, it's great to have like your hearts.
Yeah, kind of like hearts touching, and you just hold that. I tell people at least 25 seconds just to make sure you get that big oxytocin release. And so you just sink into the hug, and you get into a good position where you can just like let your whole body relax. And you just breathe into it. And you just hold it, and that long, luxurious embrace is really unique, right? It's like it's an extremely unique thing in our life. Like there's only going to be probably one person that you do that with, and so it's like a way for your body, just to get this signal that like, oh, this is my person, right?
Yeah,
so,
it could be like you do the tent hugs,
yeah,
or like
good game.
Good game. Whereas like the melty hugs, we don't have all the time with people. So yeah, good game. Who here? Let's hear from some of you. I know some of you are chiming in. Who here likes oxytocin, melty hugs? Let's see. I know there's like a little bit of a delay. If anybody else is a fan of melty hugs, let us know. And then
sexual intimacy. So yeah, again, it's just sexual intimacy, that the physical activation that happens during eroticism is so important to our biology, to the biology of love, to the biology of our romantic relationship. So it's in the kind of world of kind of sex therapy, if we have sex less than every 2 weeks, that's called a low sex relationship. And if we have sex less than once a month, then that is called a no sex relationship. And sex it's a very asymmetrical thing, in that if our sexual relationship is working really well, we get a 15 to 20% like bump in satisfaction in our relationship. But if sex isn't going well, if our sex life is really suffering, and it's like an area of conflict for us, it can be create a 50% dissatisfaction in our relationship, which can single-handedly really start to destabilize things. So so we just want to like emphasize the importance of sex, and and if it is an issue that just causes some hurt every now and then, we just really want to encourage you to start out having a conversation about that. Just like have very kind of take 100% responsibility, right? And we always start from that, so we're not blaming the other person for anything. And we just have that deep kind of emotional conversation. And we do have a sex course that has 6 modules that really helps you with those conversations, if that would be helpful.
Yeah, and one great conversation. I love seeing the fellow melty hug lovers.
Yes.
Okay, love it, Sally. I totally see your question, and thanks for everyone chiming in, the other lovers of physical affection. So erotic maps is language that can be really valuable as you're exploring like ways to be physically intimate with each other. So the idea of erotic maps, this is not our unique concept, but a wonderful one that we use all the time. We use in our own relationship. We're always kind of like mapping things, and with couples. So the idea of your erotic map is that eroticism spans our entire lives. It isn't just what happens in the bedroom. So it could be when your partner unloads the dishwasher, you're like, ooh, that's on my erotic map. Or a certain outfit your partner wears, or something they say, or when you're watching them do, help your child with their homework. Like, it's like, oh, all of a sudden I just feel like this spark and this warmth and affection towards you. Or it could be, of course, things like in the bedroom, kinds of music you love listening to, things you like your partner saying, positions, all the things, lingerie, being clean, being kind of dirty after a hike. There's nothing is wrong when it comes to our erotic maps. That's like the number one thing, is that nothing is wrong. It doesn't mean that your partner agrees to whatever it is, but it's something that I think a lot of people carry a lot of shame around what they find pleasurable, what their fantasies are, what, kind of their erotic world and their landscape. And so we kind of hold it in. And so it's so important to get to know that with each other. And again, it's like just making nothing wrong and have it be this wide open playground of exploration. And there's no pressure. Just because I find something erotic doesn't mean that Bret is under any obligation to, do whatever that might be, and realize it's expansive. It doesn't just mean what's happening, actually, how we traditionally think of, what sexuality is. All right, an erotic, yes, it's great. I'll be like, ooh, like maybe Bret will have an outfit on, like, ooh, that outfit's on my erotic map, or either of us will be saying or doing something, and it's kind of a fun, friendly language. I mean, we've actually written ours out, so if you want to write it out and we're working with couples, you can put like, your name in the middle, and then just like you have like kind of branches going off of all the different things. We also have on our website, there's a free guide. It's what to do, something like what to do when your sex drives differ. So it's just a free download in case that would be of service to anyone. And Sally asked, I believe, for someone who is tall, about physical affection. Is that, I didn't read the full thing. The dating pool is limited because I'm 6 foot tall. I'm sorry, you're seeing my finger here. Past the traditional masculine and feminine norms. Do you feel past? Okay. Yes, so free relationship advice for a tall girl, please, because I think it could apply in so many different ways. I am single and feel like my dating pool is limited because I am 6 foot tall in relationships. So how do you feel past the masculine, feminine norms? Such a beautiful question, Sally. Yeah, do you want to chime in? So, I mean, what I would, I think it's so much of it is energy. In relationships, it's just so much less about even physical attraction. Like, certainly we are physically attracted, but energy is so much more of it. So I think it's the energy that we bring. And so it's actually kind of a hot topic right now in a lot of relationship circles, is this whole energetic balance between masculine and feminine. And it's not one of our main paradigms, and it's way beyond our actual gender. It's kind of the masculine and feminine that exists inside of all of us. And so I just find it's like whatever energy we want to bring. And so say you're wanting the more kind of traditionally feminine energy would be kind of that softening into something. So I think it's just finding a way to harmonize with our partner in a way that feels good. There's no right or wrong way. Like radiance, for example, is so attractive. It doesn't matter, or if we're feeling really constricted, really self-conscious, that tends to be less attractive. We could, be someone who's really tall, but feeling that way, or someone who maybe you are self-conscious for a, shorter height. It's about really letting your energy radiate. So I think energetics are way more important than any sort of physical size or appearance. So I don't know, there's so much more we could say. I don't know if that's helpful. What do you want to add?
Absolutely, yeah. We really see love as a soul connection, and in this external stuff, is just so secondary, right? Like it really doesn't mean much. It's just really about the heart connection, the soul connection that you have with somebody. There's like the Mars and Venus kind of paradigm, or the masculine, feminine kind of polarity. It's kind of a hot jargon right now, and we tend to not really use those paradigms because we're just are much more kind of soul centered, and that the soul doesn't necessarily have a gender, or have an age, or have a form. So we really don't get caught up in that. Sally, there's like a perfect person out there for you, and I'll just share with you like what worked for me, and worked really well for me, and which is I started to kind of call in my partner, like when I was kind of single before I met Christine. I would kind of write to my beloved. I would talk to her. Like I would really kind of act as if like she was already in my life, and then like she came into my life. So it worked really well, and so I ding dong. I will take care of that. Yeah.
There's someone at the door. We have a visitor. So yeah, Sally, thank you so much for asking that. And for anybody else that is relevant too. And I totally get that and validate that fully and completely. Maybe it's an early trick-or-treater. Okay, super. So, all right, next on our list we have, appreciate and grow the good. So number 6. So far, number 1 was take 100% responsibility. So it was a client that showed up. So we're on this level below. We have our office, not a trick-or-treater early. Okay, so the first one we talked about is taking 100% responsibility.
Isn't it really cool though to think that, there's like, so our office is in our, the basement, here, right underneath us, and it's like so cool to think about, like, oh, there's people like doing kind of healing work right underneath us. It's just so awesome. Yeah, we have the most amazing team of coaches. Like we're just like so incredibly blessed to be part of this Center for Thriving Relationships team.
Yes, we are. Yeah, big shout out to the incredible coaches on our team. Yes. And yes, manifestation is such a powerful tool. Yeah. Yes, it is. Yeah, Bret and I we were actually writing to each other before we met. I would like be falling asleep at night and just like having this conversation. Like, I know this amazing person is out there. And then we found that we were both doing the same thing. So yeah, don't underestimate the ways that we're all connected. All right, there's so much more we could say about all that. We're gonna keep going. Okay, so we had the first one was take 100% responsibility for reviving the relationship. Like rather than waiting for your partner, like just really take a stand for that. The second, we have to do something new, learn something new, just keep variety alive in order to keep passion alive, and to continue to be allured by the mystery of life together and having that shared experience of like something is unfolding. We're having a new experience together. 3 was nurture emotional intimacy, so important. 4, we talked about the love account and keeping it full. 5 is physical intimacy, nurturing both sexual and non-sexual touch, not letting that fall away. If maybe you're exploring kind of how to be sexual with each other now, make sure you at least hold on to physical affection, really boost that. And 6, to appreciate and grow the good. So this is so important. It can really easily happen in long-term love that we think our job is to like point out everything our partner does wrong or could do better. We take them on as our home improvement project. In the busyness of life too, our brains kind of trick us into thinking that it's like, well, it's just so much more efficient just to tell them what didn't get done or what needs to be done better, rather than like, okay, there's this 100 things that you did wonderfully in ways that you like contribute to my life and enrich my life and are such a gift. But I'm going to go right to the thing that needs to be better. And like, oh, it's such a disservice. Like we miss out on all these things that are so, so important. And then what happens is that we just stop doing those things because we think like, oh, it doesn't really matter to my partner because they don't acknowledge them. So when we all of a sudden start to like appreciate someone, I actually like watch it in sessions. It's like life, like one partner just like breathes life into the other person when suddenly they're like seen for all the things they're doing well and all of their unique strengths and ways they contribute. It's like truly like all of a sudden they like come back to life. So appreciation is so powerful. So before you go to bed tonight, fall asleep, like sharing with your partner what you want to appreciate about them. No matter how disconnected you might feel right now, like that is one of the most powerful ways to shift our own brains and our own chemical state, and like let it really be genuine. And adding the why is so helpful. So rather than just like, oh, thank you for making dinner, it's like, thank you for making dinner because, like, why is that important to you? Thank you for making dinner because I feel so much more nourished. It's such a gift to come home and have a meal, whatever it might be. And you can appreciate for the same things day after day after day to make sure that you stay awake to the gift of each other.
Yeah, make sure that you do not put yourself in the role that you were never hired for. And that's kind of like our kind of humorous way to describe that role that we can play of just like pointing out everything our partner does wrong or isn't doing good enough, right? It's like, really, were we hired for that position? Like, no. If we would have done that in the beginning of our relationship, we wouldn't be together, right? But we can just kind of easily, kind of sink into that role over time. And it's like, no, we want to fire ourselves from that role. Like, do not let yourself do that. And we want to hire ourselves as our beloved's head cheerleader, right? It's like, that's our role. That's probably what we were doing in the beginning, and we want to just keep on doing that like forever.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's like the best. When you have like someone cheering from the sidelines, there's a reason why, sports teams have, a squad kind of cheering for them or have like cheers to like get people pumped up, like to have your partner. So, it's really, really powerful to be that for each other. That definitely revives things. All right, so next we have to prioritize fun and play.
Yes.
So important.
Yeah, like this is something we have to be aware of. It's like it's easy, especially when you just like really love what you do and there's like so much purpose in your work, right? It's easy to just like work and work and work and work, right? Because it's like it's very validating, it's very affirming. It's like we get that kind of soul affirmation from our work, and it's so important to kind of slow down and really like play together. It's like that accesses a whole different part of our brain when we do that.
Yeah, we have like a different personality with like the different parts of our brain. Like when we're in work mode, just know that you are in like left brain. Probably depends on what kind of work you are. So say you're at your computer and you're in get things done mode. I'll say that. When you're get things done mode, you're more in your left brain, and we have a whole different personality. We have a different set of values, different emotions leading the way when we're in our left brain. Like we're much more focused on productivity and efficiency. So we tend to be like short with our partner, and we're just in that mode. And so if we're in that mode all the time, we're just like always like, what's the next thing that needs to get done? Whether you're actually working or just like taking care of your household or just taking care of things, it's so different than when we're in our right brain. So when we're in that space of relaxation and play and fun, totally different personality. We're like, I don't know, what time is it? It doesn't matter. We like laugh so much more easily. Empathy flows more readily. We're more creative. We see possibilities. So it's so important. I think just our society as it is, I think you will spend a lot more time kind of in left brain state, just running that circuitry. And so it's so important if we're running the circuitry that happens during play and fun, it's so good for our relationships. And that is all the things that revive it, because we're much more in possibility and creativity and play, which is so, it's like all the feel-good chemicals happen then. So important. It can be like little micro things that you do just to like infuse your relationship with some play, but so important to prioritize that and to laugh together.
Yes.
Okay.
So next is about reviving your space, especially bedroom. Like every so often, we want to kind of move things around in our bedroom. We want to, make sure that we have a nice mattress, if it's been a few years since we've changed it. We want to maybe get some new sheets. We want to like do some aromatherapy. We want to do some beautiful art, create some sensual space in our bedroom. And we love the idea of creating a love altar in your bedroom, like a relationship altar that has all your kind of like special little knickknacks that you've acquired over your life together, and maybe some sweet pictures, of your high points in your life together.
Yeah, we love altars. We have altars throughout our home. So an altar can be anything. You can just take a table. I brought over here some of the objects from ours. So you could really use any table. You can use a box and then just find some purple's my fave. And Bret is very thankfully embracing a purple. So here's like a special cloth. And then you can put anything. So it doesn't have to cost any money. You can just do earth treasures. Yeah.
So there's
but all sorts
couple
of
things from our love altar in our bedroom.
Here's a heart stone. I bet we have lots of people here on the call who like finding heart stones. Mm-hmm. Here we have this. This is called Yab Yum. This is like kind of sacred union. So it can be anything. We have crystals on ours, candles. Here's a rose quartz, which is like the stone of love and compassion. But creating a space that's represents for you whatever you want to be nurturing in your relationship, whatever is important to you. So it doesn't matter what the object is. It matters like the symbolism that you give to each object. That's what's most important, because our subconscious actually speaks in images. So having a love altar in your bedroom, anywhere in your house, but we have one in our bedroom, it's like continually, kind of sending those signals to your brain of like, oh, this is what's important to us. This is what we really value. So we light candles at our altar just to keep reviving the energy and keep those intentions alive. We put our intentions there. Every year we write a note to ourselves for the following year with things we've learned and intentions for the year. And we keep all of those on our altar in a special box. So that's just one example, but we love, that's like space that we're always cleansing and really nurturing in our bedroom. But anything just to like, we're talking about reviving your relationship. So we just want to do things new just to keep us like, it signals to our brain, especially if you like light incense or sage or aromatherapy Bret mentioned, it signals to our brain like, oh, this is new and different. And we just kind of wake up and it's like this infusion of refreshed energy. So anything to kind of revive your space is a wonderful thing we recommend.
Yeah, and one really powerful exercise that I've had couples do is to print out your vows that you said to your beloved, if you're married, and to put that on your altar and to read it every day for 30 days, and to try to live up to that. That can be an incredibly kind of powerful exercise.
Absolutely. All right, we've got two more. So number 9 is to positively surprise each other.
Surprise.
I know we put that in there. Yeah, we don't want all kinds of surprises. Because again, as Bret's mentioned a few times, we actually are really fascinated by the importance of like having close, secure attachment in our intimate relationship. It's so good for our nervous system to be like, you are there with me, you're engaged with me, I can count on you. Like, that's so important. So these are positive surprises. But again, it's like positive surprises, it's this revivification. Say that word.
Revivification. Revivification.
We dare you to try saying that word.
Word?
Revivify is the word. Revivification. Just say it fast enough.
That's right.
But positive surprises are so wonderful. So maybe it's you dress up in lingerie. Maybe it's you're out of the store and you bring your partner home flowers or their favorite I was going to say candy bar, but we're proponents of vegetables. No, their favorite vegetable. Okay, there's really any way you can do this, but some sort of positive surprise. Like take them off on a mystery date somewhere. Like, so doing something new, but actually surprising them. Again, it's that element of mystery and the unfolding. I'm like, ooh, I don't know what they're going to do next. And an interesting thing is, so evolutionary biologists, they kind of propose this notion that the importance of keeping variety alive is so, so key, because if our partner is continually predictable, our brains start to see them as like family, maybe as a sibling, and we are, programmed to not want to be physically intimate with a sibling. That would not be good for the gene pool. And so it actually tricks our brain into thinking like, oh, I don't want to have, sexual desire towards this person because if I start to see them as like a parent or a sibling. So we want to prevent that from happening and instead have this person like, ooh, this person's actually mysterious. I don't know, there's like still, even if Bret and I've been together for over 17 years, I'm still learning new things about it. And I love like when Bret surprises me. It's like, ooh. So it's so good for keeping passion, desire alive, that you see each other really as partners, which is important for so many things. If you have a dynamic where you've kind of gotten enmeshed, where you don't know where you end and your partner begins, differentiation is really, really important. And surprise also helps with that. All right. So there's so much more we could say about all these. So the last one, number 10. And thanks. I think I see Helen and Matt chiming in. It's so good. You're chiming in a private message, but we see you. Mwah! And we send you our love.
So number 10 is ritual connection. And do you start on that?
Yeah, well, just the importance of like ritualizing connection, because life is so full and busy. And so it's so easy just to have life happening to us. And it's like, days go by, weeks go by, months go by, years go by. This is so many of the couples that we are honored to support. And they're like, they don't even know, who each other is anymore. And it's like their life has become so focused, especially if you're raising young kids. Your life is so focused on these other things. And you just probably kept thinking like, oh, once, the kids are a little bit, once they're, out of diapers, or once like you keep like extending the goalposts, like, oh, we'll have more time once we just get through this busy work season, once we get through whatever it might be. And then it's like that moment never happens. And so we really believe in ritualizing it, and ritualizing it just means that it happens at the same time every day in a way that you can really count on. So this is important to make sure that it actually happens. And it also gives us, I think, a lot of peace and security that if our partner maybe, it's very common in relationships that one partner longs for more quality time, more attention, more affection from their partner. So that's okay. We all have different needs for that. But if you're the person that has a higher need for that, just knowing that like, oh, at the end of the day, or whenever your time is, maybe it's like you have tea at 10 o'clock or you go for a walk at 7 p.m. or whatever it is, like, you can count on that time no matter what. And then that you have that time is positive. So we encourage it to be like a no logistics time, just having fun, enjoying each other's company, but something every day that's like at least 15 minutes. Maybe you're just laying and cuddling together. We recommend not.
Yeah. And really try to do like, 30 to 60 minutes is ideal, but at least 15 minutes a day of quality time. Like if you don't have that, like you don't have a life. Like you need to clean the slate and start creating your life over again. Because we really need that. We just can't stress that enough. Like even 15 minutes of quality time, like real connection, like phones off, phones away, and we're intentionally not talking about like difficult subjects or logistics. We're just really talking about like, oh, like how was your day, right? This is what my day was like. Hey, like what are you feeling right now, right? It's just kind of really being in the moment. It's so important.
It's so, so important. So so small, medium, and large. So date nights are so important. Just having that time that you can count on every week where you're going to like step away. And this is something with the couples that we're working with that we just like, a lot of times in sessions, I'll have them like get out their calendars right then and there. I'm like, okay, what sitter do you need to reach out to? Because again, it's like, oh, another week just went by. It's like, oh, we didn't have a date.
Yeah. And some people may be in a situation where once every other week is realistic and once a week is not. So once a week is right? If you can, like, do it, right? You'll benefit from it, but at least every other week.
Absolutely. And then having something that you can look forward to, like some sort of trip that you're going to take, that's like the large rituals. That's always good to have something on the calendar that you can anticipate, because so much of the enjoyment of something is like the anticipation leading up to it. So ritualizing your connection. So we encourage you to, in the next 24 hours, to get out your calendars with your partner and like, okay, every day during this time, this is just like devoted to us. Nothing else can come in this window of time, and every week or every other week, to really make that happen. So let's hear what questions you have about anything that we've covered. These 10 ways that you can start reviving your relationship right away. So taking responsibility, like I'm going to revive a relationship, and like get really passionate about how you can do that. Adding some more variety. So just do something to spice things up. Initiate that with your partner. Talk about like, wow, what are places we've never gone to together that we've always wanted to go to? We have a list. We have a Google Doc of just like all these things. Like I'll see on Facebook, or here somebody will say something. We like put it on the list because we love going new places together. That's really important to us, and I feel like more connected and bonded and more alive whenever we do that.
And during this pandemic has been a great opportunity for us we've gone to so many trails that we've never been to before. So yeah, it's been amazing to explore all these new, just gorgeous areas in our neck of the woods.
Yeah, absolutely. Number 3 is nurturing your emotional intimacy. So have those bonding conversations. Ask more open-ended questions. We have on our website, there's a free download. There are date night discovery cards. There's some of these open-ended questions. So feel free to hop on there. You'll see under like the freebies.
Yeah. Do we have the relationship check-in on our website?
I don't think we do, but feel free to email us if you want. We have a relationship check-in. That's really wonderful. It has a whole list of questions that you can ask each other about, like.
Right. Happy to share that.
Yeah,
with you.
absolutely. So just zip us you can send a little private message or send us an email. We're so happy to share whatever would be helpful. All right, and 4 was love account. Put lots of deposits into your love account and grow the good. Like if we want more of the good stuff, we just want to be feeding that. Physical intimacy. Number 6 is appreciate. So important. Like breathe that life into your relationship, into your partner. Prioritize fun and play. Revive your space. Do something to like just change things. Put your bed in a different position. Do something to like change up the space. Brett must have had a visual there. Like upside down, whatever you want to do. And then positively surprise each other. Yeah, you could surprise your partner by changing up the bedroom. And ritualizing connection. I want like a thought bubble for what Brett's thinking right now. So come up with some small, medium, and large rituals. So let's see, does anybody have any questions about any of that? I'm just going to...
Any questions? Oh, lots of comments.
Oh, hugging as they listen.
So
Oh, love seeing you all here. Oh, thank you both. Thank you all so much for all your sweet comments. So good to have you here. People that we know and love and adore. It's such a joy. Does anybody have any questions before we chime in? So I think, yeah, let's see. So, yeah, does anybody have any questions? All right. I know there's a little bit of a delay, so we'll look for questions. And let's hear, so the Thriving Relationship Coach Certification Program that we have, just to share with you a little bit more about that and hear any questions that you have about it, is really like our life's work. It's, really feels like what we were put on this planet to do is to help support other people in bringing more love into the world. We've been doing this work for many years and are just continually in awe. It's been interesting during the, this kind of process of opening up enrollment for the course. People have asked us, like, what do they do if they're just like really kind of sensitive? Will this burn them out? And, our response, one, we're going to be teaching the coaches all about how to like really manage their energy and how to do different things to clear them and stay open and centered. And we want this work to really uplift and inspire you. And I will say that's the case. It's like, It's not that you're just like sitting and listening to people who are struggling. It's like you will, we get to watch these miracles happen day after day in our sessions. People that felt like they were like miles apart. People oftentimes feel miles apart and they're so much closer than they think. They just like, they love each other deeply, care about each other deeply, usually want almost the exact same thing. And they've just been like missing each other. And to help people who are going like this and are like, feel alone and scared and lost and the pain of that, to help them like find and meet each other again is extraordinary. I mean, we are moved to tears again and again in our sessions. It is so heartwarming and inspiring and uplifting. And so our practice is really full. We have 5 coaches that have joined our team because there's such a need for people doing this work. That is the one area of life I think there will always be a need for. It's really the most important part of our lives. And unfortunately, most people don't learn anywhere like how to have a good relationship. So people are struggling really, really unnecessarily. Yeah, we see so many couples that are like, oh my gosh, why did we wait so long? Like we lost years, sometimes decades of their lives where they could have been connected and experiencing so much more ease. So it just like thrills us to be passing these tools along. So we've been doing this work over 10 years, really focusing on couples, and we've really designed these protocols that we just know work. I mean, we've very laboratory tested in our own relationship, and we've used them truly in thousands of sessions, and they just work. They absolutely work. And so to get to pass them along, like we now feel ready. Like, okay, we've tested this. We've done so much relationship training and research. We really feel like we've found kind of the roadmap of how to facilitate incredible transformation and help couples like fall in love all over again and create a relationship more wonderful than they've ever had before. So it fills us like to no end to be kind of sharing these and to imagine all the love that's going to be spread in the world through this program. So thank you so much for everyone who's interested in it. And you will share a little bit about kind of what it entails.
Yes. And we find that there's going to be kind of 3 reasons why people do this coach certification training program. And the first is just for personal growth, right? It's like our main romantic relationship is by far like the most important thing in our life. When we look at kind of the things that impact our life the most, right? It's kind of like who we choose as life partner, the quality of that relationship, right? Just has such an incredibly dramatic impact in our life. And so, we know a lot of people are going to do this coaching program because they just want to learn the skills, like inside and out, right? And it's like, I want to be able to serve others, but actually my first priority is just to learn this stuff, through and through, so that I can really model it in my own life, so that I can embody, a thriving relationship in my own life. And really, that's probably the greatest gift we can give ourselves, and it's definitely the greatest gift we can give our partner.
Yeah, it'll be a really important part of the program too, because it's really important to us to really to kind of live in integrity and to be congruent with what we're sharing. Like, it's so important to us to be practicing this on our own every day, and we want to really support the coaches in that and really embody it, because that's part of the transmission. So it doesn't matter wherever your relationship is right now is perfect. You do not need to feel like you're like the exemplary relationship right now. That's what we're going to be taking you through that process, is to really create it here first. And also just your own inner healing. So that's going to be a part of it, is usually when we take that next step into what we really want to do in our lives, all of a sudden our own fears of not feeling worthy or enough or capable or whatever it might be, all of that comes to the surface. And so we are going to be here. We're going to be doing a lot of personal transformation, not just in your relationship, but in your own life. So we'll be teaching you, both of us, I especially am so passionate about kind of somatic-based energy healing, and have this sort of healing formula that I've designed over the years. So all the coaches, I'm going to be teaching you that as well. That'll be something that I'll be guiding you through on how to do.
She's such a master of that. And what we find is, that at the base of our connection, with our romantic partner, is our ability to attach. And, most of us, come from the typical dysfunctional family. And, we have some real injuries in our ability to attach. And this is normal. There's nothing wrong with us if that's the case. Most of us are kind of in that boat. And that somatic work that Christine is really just so masterful in is like, I've just seen it over and over and over again, like creates miracles in people's kind of healing, and so that they can kind of, attach at that deep level. So we're going to pull out all the secret sauce for this training.
Well, thank you. Forever a student, and I'm so grateful for what we've gotten to learn over the years. So yeah, we're going to be journeying back to like kind of core imprints around relationships, like anything that stands in the way of self-love and love with others. We're going to be guiding you through as a coach, just powerful processes, and then processes that you can then share with others, as well as just really practical, tangible, a whole like treasure chest of tools that you'll be able to replicate in your own practice. So that'll be kind of personal transformation. And the second is someone maybe you already are, a healer or coach in some way, and you want to have like a specialty. Couples, we get lots of people, lots of referrals. Every day our phone is ringing from people. They're like, oh, when they think of relationships, like you want them to think like, oh, that's like one of their specialties, because there are a lot of people who are doing incredible work to support individuals, but it is an entirely different skill set to support couples. And most, I've gotten life coaching training through various places. Bret, his more traditional kind of psychotherapy training, and it's like tiny, itty, bitty, the focus on relationships. And so this is going to be like, oh, you will really be a specialist when it comes to relationships. So if you already do work, but you want to really focus on that.
Unfortunately, most practitioners are trained to work with individuals, which makes a lot of sense, right? Nothing wrong with that. But when someone who's trained to really work with individuals and hasn't been trained to work with couples, but they do a little bit of that, kind of actually what's happening there is they know probably just enough to be dangerous, and that the research shows that people who go just to a random practitioner for help with their relationship often kind of experience more problems because of that than help. So we need more trained people out there, and that's what we want. This one of the main goals of this program is to make sure that happens.
Yeah, absolutely. So that could be you want to add on something to like your path if you're a coach or healer or some sort of practitioner therapist. And then the third person is that you want to launch a new career. Like you could be all of the above. So maybe the job you're in, it's like, yeah, maybe you're really good at it and there are lots of goodies that come from it, a lot of security, insurance, who knows what it might be. But it's like, it's not what like lights up your soul. It's not like at the end of your life, you're like, oh, I did what I came here to do. Or you don't feel that at the end of the day, just like that satisfaction. This is like, we're going to be really giving you everything you need to launch a new career as a relationship coach. That is really our absolute goal. We are like committed to everybody in the program that wants that, to set you up for total success. And we are so, so fortunate to have partnered. So this certification program is a partnership with Scott Oldford, who is truly, he's like a wizard, a business wizard, and he has helped many coaching businesses scale way beyond 6 figures, way beyond 7 figures. He was like the youngest millionaire in Canada at like 16 years old or something. So he's phenomenal. Really, truly, we feel so fortunate, and he's just a wonderful person. And it's about building a business that's like true abundance. He's all about being guided by intuition and staying so connected to like the heart of it. And that it's all about service. That it really is like, how do we serve at the highest level and get out of the way so we can really do what we're here to do. And we want you all to have absolute abundance in your life and to be able to really do this for a living if that's what sets your heart on fire. So rest assured, he's going to be just really generously showing up and giving you all sorts. And we'll be guiding you through the business element of it as well. But there's going to be, that'll be really a piece of it to make sure that you can start a new career doing this. So those are 3 pieces. And then the different kind of program components is that we'll have a live training call every week. And those will be really set training. So there will be, like slides you can see, and you'll have handouts every week that you'll print up that are like replicable tools, and you'll have a whole syllabus. So you'll know kind of what you're learning every single week. And it's 6 months long. And so we'll be kind of training you. And then that's on Mondays at different times, sometimes at noon, sometimes at 4, sometimes at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard. And then on Thursdays, we'll have a Q&A call every single week where we will just be there to kind of mentor you, guide you. You can ask questions all week long, and then we'll make sure that we stay on until all your questions get answered. We'll have a community, online community, where you'll be like connecting with each other and partnering up for things. We'll be guiding you through practice coaching sessions, which we've never shared. This is during our retreats. We do this, and people almost unanimously, it's like their favorite part to like witness the breakthroughs. It's so moving to like watch that happen. And so, we are so fortunate. We have several couples that signed up to be a part of that will be coaching them, recording those sessions, and then after the session, we'll then be talking to you and breaking down why we did what we did when, and how you can kind of replicate this, because all of it is replicable. Mute my words tonight. So that'll be a part of it. We'll be getting you all set up so that you know how to do coaching sessions from beginning to end, how to show up powerfully as a coach. And it's like the entire roadmap for how to be a relationship coach. So really, whether it's like people, who are recovering from infidelity, who have lost the spark, who are struggling to communicate, who just feel like they're on different pages and want different things, who they just feel like they've grown apart. Really, it's like anything, things about finances, sexuality, raising kids, household chores, anything involving relationships, we want to make sure you're really set with. All right, let's see. Does anybody else have?
Any questions?
Okay, yeah, and it starts November 9th. Does anybody have any questions? We're just over 8:30, so we'll get her figured out. Did we? Oh, a start date. It's on Monday the 9th, I believe. Did I just say it? I think it's Monday. Monday the 9th is when the program starts, and there's replays for everything. Let me make sure I didn't miss any questions here. But yeah, there are always replays, and it's 6 months long, but if it takes you longer, that's no problem whatsoever. Let's see. Make sure. Yay, Patrick, we're so excited. Jennifer, we're so excited. First call on the 9th. Thanks, Tris, chiming in with the details always. So are there any other questions that we can answer about that? It's going to be a magical journey. We're just like so I see some of our coaches that are totally service in. It's going to be a deeply connected community, and we're going to have so much fun. It's going to be healing and magical and powerful.
An amazing group of people. Super powerful, just heart-centered group of people. So.
Yeah, and then we'll be inviting all of you to come to our Thrive and Love retreat. That's part of it. There will be kind of a special VIP section to connect with the other coaches, and we'll have a special dinner with all of you Saturday night. And all right, so you can see we have a long document that has all sorts of details about the program and frequently asked questions.
And do we actually know if there's a spot left? Or?
I'm not sure. We don't have more than one spot left. There may be one spot or that spot. So feel free to reach out. You can just chime in the comments or reach out to us, because definitely that probably is going to go in the next 24 hours. So yes. Yeah, let us know. I don't know. It may have happened when we were on this call with you. So reach out. Yeah, go ahead and send a private message if you're interested. But we may have just what's Scott's full name? Scott is Scott Oldford, Oldford. He's awesome. Yeah. You can see. Thanks, Ray, chiming in. Any other questions? Just want to make sure. Oh, hi, Sarah and Greg. Hi, Jared. Hi, everyone. Susan. Oh, Scott is not based in Canada. He is now in the Bay Area. He's wonderful. He's, such a special, beautiful soul. And so fun. And really passionate about entrepreneurship. Yeah, it's kind of like the land of infinite possibilities. All right, well, I don't think I see any other questions. You can definitely see the document with any other questions about the program. We're so happy to support you and just really can't wait to go on this journey.
Yeah, we just really want to support you all no matter what, whether you're in the coaching program or not. We just want to help you kind of achieve your dreams and goals in life. And we're all on the same team. We're team human, team love, and we're all working together. And really, thanks for taking the time, to be part of this community tonight. This is a really powerful heart tribe, and every one of us really matters in this. And thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Ditto. Yeah, love you all. Thank you so much for being here. If there's anything we can do to love and support you, we're we're so on your team and here for you in any way. So please don't ever hesitate to reach out. We welcome your hearts fully. All right. Well, have a beautiful rest of your night. Love and blessings. And we're giving you all big oxytocin hugs.
Yeah.
Okay. Blessings.
Okay. Bye-bye.